Peace, Queens, and welcome to Sovereign Sundays, Wisdom from the Throne. I'm Queen Tasha, and every week we gather here to remember who we truly are, not just in title, but in truth. This space is for rising queens to reclaim our power, realign with purpose, and embody the sacred attributes of sovereignty. For the next 6 weeks, we're going to explore the attributes of the queen. The qualities that form the foundation of the true power, not performative power, but soul-rooted, spirit-led power. These episodes are here to set the tone for what is to come as I guide, teach, and grow with you on this journey of rising into royalty and living fearlessly free. Today's attribute is sovereignty. Let's explore what that really means and how it shows up on the path to living fearlessly free. So let's get into it.
Feeling free to live my life.
Let's start with the definition of sovereignty. Supreme power and authority and self-rule. I also have an empowered meaning, which is owning your life's choices and energy without apology, making choices for your life, not based on the system. And a personal quote that I have that came from a video that I did with Sky back in 2020. She captured some really great things in that video that I will treasure forever. It's one of my favorite videos of me, and I get teary-eyed every time I watch it. But that is, when we are powerful, we are not followers. We are not going along with the social constructs. We are making our own rules, making our own life, being the rulers of our own life. You have to lead yourself, no matter what's going on. And I love that quote. It goes along with today's theme of sovereignty. Another great quote that comes from the great Bob Marley, which is, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our own minds. And that comes from Redemption Song. And I love that one because sovereignty is freeing yourself. And realizing nobody's coming to save you. And that you are the ruler of your life. I realized that I could design my own life was when basically kind of stems from my spiritual awakening. And it probably is like my pre-spiritual awakening. My pre-spiritual awakening came from me leaving a relationship where I felt powerless, where I had got down to the point where I gave the last bit of power that I had away, and I was not feeling good about myself anymore. And just my inner highest self, my inner self, my ancestors, all of that be from source, all of that was calling me to free myself. Like, you could say that they came or whatever, but like, it was really, I had to make the choice and I had to free myself from that relationship. I eventually then, freed myself from living in Atlanta, so I wasn't being re-traumatized by some of the choices and memories that I had. And being in a new space allowed for me to reclaim my power. From that, my spiritual awakening happened, where I freed myself from religion and essentially started freeing myself and decolonizing myself from the matrix, and from, what I've always known to be true and followed as a social norm, trying to be normal, trying to fit in, trying to, keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And that was, my spiritual awakening happened in Houston, when I moved to Houston, Texas. That was like my last, cling to the matrix. Like, I went there, that was the first time I was able to work for myself and make the type of money that I wanted to be able to support myself. And I got the biggest apartment that I could afford, and I went and got a new car, and I just was feeling myself. But none of that stuff brought me joy or happiness. Like, it really tore me apart to the point where I got down to my lowest point, because I had gotten a car accident, that I could no longer use the car that I was using for work to get what I needed. And I really went inward. And this was a time when I was like doing meditation challenges with Oprah and Deepak Chopra. I miss those. Those were nice. They were like 30-day meditation challenges. And like, I was really just starting to break myself here. I was like trying to discover what was going on with my health. And through that, I really like took power of my own health, because the doctors weren't telling me anything that made any sense, and they couldn't help me. According to them, there was nothing wrong with me. I was just having pains for no reason. Chronic pain for daily chronic pain for no reason. And I made the choice to say, okay, well, if y'all can't help me, I'm gonna help myself. And I did all the research to figure out all the natural things and what to cut out and what to try. And I'm an experimenter. It's a shame that I never became a scientist, because I'm definitely an experimenter, social experimenter, and self-experimenter to see, what works. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to try things to make a difference in my life. And from those actions, when I saw the results from a few of those actions, I realized, like, it really, you start feeling yourself, and that is that calling of power, that ego, where you start feeling yourself. Like, that's realizing that you have power, to make the choices that you want to make, and getting the results by putting the intention in, and, backing all that stuff, and believing that you should have it and that you deserve that. All of that energy going in allows you to manifest that. And when I started seeing how I was able to free myself, it was super powerful. And I think that's what allowed me to go down the rabbit hole of, the spiritual awakening, in a sense. Like, it's different for everybody. It can happen for religion. It can happen for political stuff. It can happen because of like health concerns. It happens differently for everybody. But I feel like my ancestors from the motherland were all the way back to ancient times, were sending out a call for me to go, the rabbit from the Matrix, to go down the hole, Alice in Wonderland hole, to discover some information to unlock some things in your brain, so that you're allowed to now accept things that you were once programmed to not accept or allow. So yeah, my spiritual awakening was like the beginning of me freeing myself. And I believe freedom and sovereignty go together, because it's self-rule. And once you start making those choices and realizing you don't need permission from anybody to make choices, that's freeing. Like, that's so freeing when you realize you don't have to rely on the system to make your own choices. You can do whatever you want. Really, truly. There's only an illusion that there's some rules because of the programming that you were incepted to believe from your inception of being on this planet. From birth, you were molded and constructed before you could even talk into a certain religion, a certain political belief, certain temperaments and constructs based on your parents or caregivers at that time and people around you. Like, all of this, you were being absorbed, and that programming set in for you to mold into the person that you started to become. And because you didn't know any different and nobody said that there was anything different, you went along with that. But it's important to realize that those are programs. Those are not who you are. Those are not things that you have to go along with. Those are rules that some oligarchy made up once upon a time and manipulated everybody to go along with. So, and in that sense, if somebody else has power over you, if you're following somebody else's rules, somebody else's social constructs of what's normal and how to be this or do that, then you are essentially still a slave to your mind, to the system. All of the things in the Matrix are like, they're metaphorical. Like the thing being in your brain, like it's not technically that. You're not like attached and tethered in that way, but you are self-tethering yourself by going along with whatever they say is true. And not questioning it and or defending it. That is not being free or being sovereign, which is self-ruled, which is, authority and power over yourself. And when I started to really realize that, that's when I got into all of the law of attraction things and, all the vision board things. And when I realized, one of the biggest things that freed me was RV life. Truth be told, this is the most freeing decision I've ever made. Also, my locks were a super freeing decision from the constructs of all the things that go into a Black woman's hair care and living in the world with it. I freed myself from that. I don't have the fear of when my hair gets wet. I don't have the fear of, all those things, those constructs that go along with just what grows out of our head. Not everybody else. Specifically the Black woman. So when I made that decision, that was freeing. Like, all these small decisions kind of built up to what as Queen Tasha. Queen Tasha reminds me that I am powerful, and Queen Tasha wasn't my choice. I told this story not too long ago, and I've told this story on my channel before, that the development of Queen Tasha wasn't me being like, oh, I want people to call me Queen. I really tried to coin the nickname Star for like 10 years, like 10, 15 years. I tried to get people to call me Star. I got a little necklace, a little bracelet. That nickname never stuck. For whatever reason, I get that nickname to stick. Lucky for me, when I birth a child, when I bring my star seed into the world, her name will be Stellara, and we'll go by Star for short. So we'll get that. But when I had my spiritual awakening, when I was in Houston and I was just, kind of going during that spiritual awakening, you do go through a very deep, dark depression. And then, slow climb back up of rise, but, I was, again, starting to free myself from other things, which was also like the construct of like how I felt about myself in public. Like for years, I would not go outside with makeup at all. Like I would just like, well, I guess I'm not gonna go out in public, like even if it was just like to go down the hall, to whatever. And I started to go out in public, just to run quick errands or whatever, not too far from the house or whatever. And I was out and there were people who just stopped me. This was like the era of compliments. Like up into my life, I either got negative comments or feedback about my appearance or none at all, like no comments, like no reassurance or anything like that. It was either negative or nothing. And then all of a sudden, very regularly for a good couple of years, like from Texas to Florida, and every once in a while still now, it randomly happens, but it was like happening frequently, where people would come and compliment me, and they would use the word like queen or empress, and I was just like very just like, what? Especially because I was unmasked. I wasn't feeling beautiful for somebody to call me queen. So the fact that people were recognizing my energy, I guess, my aura, my spirit being unleashed, my soul being free, that's where that came from. And I just took to it the way that it just started coming in. I didn't feel good about like empress, so I went with queen. But yeah, like that was like a regular thing for a while, and it was bizarro to me because, like I said, I wasn't used to getting compliments on my appearance specifically. Every once in a while, I used to dress to impress, so I would get compliments because people would be like, "Hey, where you get that? You look fine. I love your outfit, whatever." But like, generally, those people I knew, or my significant other or whatever. It wasn't strangers randomly taking time out of their day to stop me. And when I say strangers, it was the ratio of men to women, it was like 80% women, which was another weird bizarro thing for me as well. Like for women to recognize and compliment me, stop out of their day to be like, queen, you look so beautiful. I'm just like, I love the lipstick or whatever, I love your outfit. You look beautiful in the purple or whatever. And that's what stuck. But I digress on that. But yeah, so it's just like it all became full circle when I started to reclaim my power, and recognize that I had power in the first place and that I was giving it away and that I needed to channel it back. And so one of the things that was the most powerful thing for me in designing my life and taking control of designing what I wanted was when I started to make my vision journals. And this is my first vision journal. I did a couple of chapters in this one, and then I switched over to different versions. But this was the foundational one, and this is the most powerful one for me. Like, I have so many great things. I read this every day for like the first year when I did it. And it's basically a vision journal. I got this idea from Sorrel, She's another content creator on YouTube who at the time was traveling full time. And so there's the idea of the vision board, but in small spaces and or traveling, there's nowhere to put a vision board. And so she had the idea of, was watching her at the time because she was into the law of attraction stuff. And so she had the idea of doing a journal version of the board, where everything was like a scrapbook kind of thing that you could take with you and then you could look at it. And I used it as like reading the book of my life as if it already had happened, like in the law of attraction. You have to act as like and feel, you have to be delusional enough to act as if it has already happened and you already have it, and then also to feel that as well. And so by watching it and seeing it and reaffirming it, I did that every day. It was like part of my morning ritual to read this, and it's mostly pictures, which is what I love. I'm a picture book reader, but it's got a lot of affirmations and mantras to read. And one of my favorite ones that I'm going to read now, this is another one that I read in the video that I did with Sky, which is just one of my favorite ones. It says, I dwell in the midst of infinite abundance. The abundance of the universe is my infinite source. The river of life never stops flowing. It flows through me into lavish expressions. Good comes to me from unexpected avenues. The universe works in a myriad ways to bless me. I now open my mind to receive my good. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. With the universe as my source, nothing amazes me. I give freely and fearlessly into life, and life gives back to me with fabulous increase. Blessings come in expected and unexpected ways, and the universe provides for me in wondrous ways, and I am grateful. And so it is. That's one of my favorite quotes in here, just because it reassures me of, like, I don't know, it's just a powerful mantra to recite, because it's about claiming your own power of abundance, but also being supported by the universe. So I love that one. And but yeah, like, for me, again, sovereignty is about making your own rules, deciding what's good for you, not what's good for anybody else, not what goes along with the societal norms. How am I going to fit in? How does this fit? Like, really breaking free from having your choices be based on anybody's system but your own. And remembering that nobody is here to live your life but you. You are here having a soul, having a human experience from the collective source. But you are having your own experience. So you do you. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why you're not is because somebody told you that somebody made some rules and that you are supposed to follow. And that is not true. I mean, it's what you should be following is love. If love is guiding you, then all of those rules that they're trying to enforce would not need to apply. What they're trying to do is control how it is that you make your choices, and the reverse psychology of telling you that there's rules in the first place makes you want to do those things anyway. But if you're leading with love and leading with the guidance of source and your inner intuition, then you should be following no one but yourself. And I truly believe that. Like, I feel like I've always believed that. It just took me some time to remember, and to claim it. And sometimes I forget. We all forget. Freeing yourself from the matrix is like a mentality of the timeline and or existence and reality that you choose to accept, right? We all know that there's rules. We all know that there's laws. We all know that bad stuff is happening in the world. And we know that there's a lot of great stuff happening in the world. It's the reality you choose to accept in this present moment. That's it. So you have the power to choose that. If you choose to live in a world where awful stuff happens every day and you focus on that, and you're listening to the things that are reinforcing that, you are giving your power away. And you're making that choice. You are giving consent to give your power away. And that's an unfortunate thing that happens in the Matrix. You are giving your own consent to give your power away. Nobody's stealing it from you. Nobody's holding you hostage. You're not locked up. There's no technical Matrix where you're like, let's hope not. I mean, this simulation could be anything. But let's hope not. That's not, that's all like a metaphor for entertainment and, the complexities of making sense of this. But like, you are creating your own prison. But you also can break down that prison by unprogramming yourself and going through those steps and processes to, do those things to free yourself. And once you free yourself, you can create your paradise. You can create the reality in which you want to live in. And that's what this was mainly for. And, I haven't done one I didn't get to one last year. And, but I do plan to do one for this year, because it's important. It's important to craft out and to see it, as if it's already, like I said, it's already written. It's already written. It's already done. It's already been done. It's already happened. And all you have to do is align with it. But one more thing about sovereignty, that goes along with like the idea that freedom. Our ancestors, any of our ancestors that were enslaved, a lot of times, the ones that decided that they did not want to be a slave. Let's go there. Instead of talking about the choices that people made. The ultimate goal of physical enslavement of Africans was to break down their mental barrier, because this is where you really get enslaved. That's why they were okay with letting us go. They had already trapped a good amount of us into mental enslavement. They no longer had to hold us in chains, because the chains are here now. They programmed us to believe that we need to do this, or we have to reach this, or the ceiling is here, and then we got to go there, and that we can't break free. But there were some of us that said, fuck all that. I will find freedom for myself. They didn't know that was going to be happiness, joy. In most cases, it was scared and running. You know what I'm saying? But they decided they wanted to make the choice for their life. They didn't want somebody else making those choices for them, whether they lived or died, whether they were happy or sad, whether they were free. And that was the important step for all of this. And I believe, I hope that that's where this power and spirit comes from, is that my ancestors broke free. They knew that it was better to find out what's on the other side of freedom and run than to stay enslaved. And yeah, but in the spirit of Leo season, I wanted to share another thing from my journal that I used to love reciting. I want to get back to reciting, which is, let's see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. And this is one of those empowering things that just, for me, helps remind me that I'm a strong queen and that I have the power over my life. And you can come or you can go. But I'm going to be here anyway. But here's how I read it anyway. It doesn't read exactly like this, but this is how I read it. I say, I am a queen. Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. When the queen is happy, there is peace in the kingdom. Do not worry about anyone taking your crown. Crowns are a gift from the ancestors. They are custom made, and your crown will never fit anyone else. Just be yourself. They may not like you, but they can't stop you. Leo women are once in a lifetime type of females. There is no upgrade after me. I am a badass with a good heart, soft but strong, unapologetic and honest. I am the type of woman you go to war beside, not against. My value is priceless, my potential is limitless, and my love is unconditional. I am a queen. So before I end today's enlightening wisdom session, I did want to do a quick one card pull from my goddess deck to invite the goddesses to close out this message of the theme of sovereignty and freeing yourself and living in your own power, living by your own rules, and being the leader of your own life. I wanted to see what messages the goddesses have for us to close out the session. So yeah, for the next 6 weeks or 5 weeks now after this week, I will be doing different themes of the queen attributes, with this one being the first one of sovereignty, which goes along with the Sovereign Sunday theme, which I thought it was important to start off with this and this like foundational series of the important attributes and like defining what that means to me and giving guidance and inspiration on how to live in that and how to embody that. All right, so I'm just gonna, I think because my shuffle is kind of weird, I'm gonna do, oh, you can't see it, but I'm gonna do a little card pull here, just when it feels good. Okay, I'm feeling right here. I don't know, I think this is Epona. This is number 14. Wise leadership. See? The oracle is speaking. The goddesses are coming through, okay? Wise leadership, okay? Sovereignty. The leading your life. Ugh, I love that. I love that came through. I love that came through. See? Yes, okay, we'll go to 14. I'm going to read each message in this particular deck. The card, based on the way that it's pulled up, it has a different message. But when I pulled it, like sometimes I'll pull this way and sometimes I pull this way and I forget. So it just depends on if I'm doing it for myself and laying it out. But I usually read both messages, and which one I feel aligns most is where I go with. So that it goes by empowered message, and that's usually if it's up in the up position, and then alignment message if it was pulled in the bottom. So, I mean, if you want to go back and see how it came up for you in the video, you can pause and rewind, see how it came up for you. But here we go. So the empowered message is: stepping into the world with a sense of surety and positive self-worth is what's called for now. Epona, the Celtic Roman horse goddess of leadership and guidance, offers you her wisdom. Know that you have what it takes to heed it. You can do anything you place your attention on, and you'll find it easy to accomplish what's needed for your intentions to take form. Whether you are aware of this or not, the way you manage your accomplishments and even the way you handle failures and losses is modeling the way forward for others. There is a wisdom growing within you. Being true to who you are and placing integrity and humility equal to enthusiasm makes you a wise leader indeed, one that the goddess Epona is proud of. I don't know about you, but that message felt aligned for me. Whew. And then the alignment message: being overly assertive and determined to take action is not in your favor at this time. If you feel afraid of making mistakes or worry that you will somehow compromise yourself or disappoint someone else, consider this a time to regroup and assess the details. As the goddess Epona knows, not all paths are meant to be explored. Not all battles are meant to be fought. Not all opportunities will pan out. Beware of the tendency to overreach. You have come a long way, and the best leaders know when to take a break. Your task is to hold back and breathe deeply, trusting fully that when the time comes to act, the goddess Epona will guide you. You don't want to act too soon out of fear and insecurity, or even by hubris, as you will surely slip and lose your stance. Take heart, for this is the perfect moment for a timeout to see what the goddess Epona truly has for you. The divine has you safe and secure. You just need to wait. So whoever, whatever message felt aligned or called for you, I hope that all of this today resonates with you. For me, I know that empowered message really hit for me. I felt that, that gulp where you can't breathe. And just what's going on in my life, that just, it definitely aligns. So I hope that today's message align with the queens that need to hear this message. And then you come back next week for the next attributes of the Queen, Sovereign Sunday, Wisdom from the Throne. Stay royal, stay rising, and live fearlessly free. Tasha.